Hello everyone, my name is Mudit Pandey and I'm the co-founder of My Admission Card and president of CV Foundation. Towards our initiative to bring foreign universities directly to you and get you a guidance, today we have got a special guest with us from Richmond, the American University in London, Mr. Adam. Hi Adam, how are you?
Hi Mudit, I'm very well, thanks.
So can you just introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, so my name's Adam Charlton and I'm the head of recruitment at Richmond American University London.
So Adam, as our initiative, what we do exactly, I'll tell you. So I'll be asking you different questions regarding your country and regarding your university.
Cool.
And you just need to answer them so that our audience get the maximum knowledge about the Richmond University, the American University in London.
Cool.
So can you just
great.
give us a brief about your university, its location?
Yeah.
So we can start with location first.
Yeah.
What is the location?
So we're located in London, in West London, a place called Chiswick Park. So that's a business park. And it's just down the road from our original founding place, which was in Richmond.
Okay.
So it's a really nice, nice area of West London, I would say. I think some of your viewers might have heard of Hounslow.
Yeah,
so it's just next to Hounslow. Yeah.
So is the area safe for these students?
Yeah. So Chiswick is what I would call a very well-to-do area. It's got a beautiful high street. It's quite traditionally English, and it's in the borough of. Next to Richmond, which is one of the safest boroughs in London. So the crime rates are incredibly low, and it's incredibly safe for the students if they're travelling to and from work.
And how easy is it to get to the university? Is the tram or the tube is all available there?
Yeah, I would say it's really well connected. So we have one tube station called Gunnersbury, which is on the District Line and the London Overground. And that's 2 minutes walk from the campus, literally opposite.
Okay.
And then Chiswick Park tube station is about a 10-minute walk. And that's on the Piccadilly line. And then there's another tube station as well, which is a good, another about 10-15 minute walk away as well. So, and there's obviously lots of bus routes, and it's 10 miles from Heathrow Airport. So I'd say it's pretty well connected. Yeah.
And a lot of questions that come generally when we talk about any university. What about the accommodation? Is the accommodation nearby available? Or the Asian foods available? Because a lot of Indian students will be looking at this. So it will be a major concern. Is the accommodation available? Is the food available?
We don't own our own accommodation on the same campus. So we do work with some accommodation providers, and they are... Yeah, the nearest one is sort of 20 minutes away in Hammersmith. And there are some other accommodation providers that we work with that are probably 30 minutes away. So yeah, I would say our students definitely coming to study at Richmond. You are coming to a city-based university. You're going to live off campus. You're going to be commuting in every day. And you're going to feel like a Londoner, And I feel like that's perhaps a little bit harder work than if you go to a campus university, but I think it also has some really good benefits as well.
It must help students to develop their communication skill, know the whereabouts of the city and the stuff. And what about the food? If I generally ask you London as a place, is the Indian food generally available there?
I would definitely say so. I'm a big fan of Indian food, and there are so many places to eat in London that do really good Indian food. I think many of your viewers will know, obviously, around Wembley, this has a huge South Asian and Indian population, and there's some brilliant Indian restaurants there, as well as also in Hounslow. And then locally, actually on campus, so in the business park where we're located, there's your typical sort of cafes, sandwich shops, lunch places. We have a little cafe on campus, and then on Chiswick High Road, they don't have so many sort of Indian type food places, but there are some more traditional UK high street brands. So the students will sometimes go there and get some food. But it's definitely, London's such a food hub, and there are so many different cultures that I really think that's one of the really great things about studying in London for an Indian student. You go to a smaller city or town in the UK, and maybe they don't have so many options.
You miss all the excitement there.
Yeah.
So just one more question into it before coming to the courses and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of students do ask me, like, when they are in London, they would like to enjoy the nightlife of the London, which is famous in the world.
Yeah.
But coming back to the parents, is it safe? Is the nightlife also safe? I understand the crime rate is very low when it comes to the morning time, which is very, very great. But because they are students, they are young, they want to go, because London nightlife is famous all around the world. So they would definitely like to try it out. But is it safe as an individual? What do you recommend? What is your say on it?
My feeling is definitely yes, it is. You know, they have the tubes now. We have those certain tubes line will run 24 hours, and if you're going out in zone 1, sort of 2 and 3, there's a high police presence. There's so many other young people going out, and students go in groups. They travel to these bars, clubs, restaurants. They have a good time, and then they travel home together. And it's very rare to hear stories of people having issues. So I really would say that it is safe. Yeah.
So now coming back to the university, so what are the major courses like that you look up to? Because obviously a lot of Indian students will only look up to when it comes to business management or computing. But I'm not exactly asking you about business management and computing.
Yeah.
I do want to know about it, but in addition to that, what are the other popular courses that your university offers?
Yeah. So we have a range of undergraduate degrees and postgraduate degrees. So there's about 20 undergraduate bachelor's degrees, and we have three schools. And I think the popular ones, obviously for the South Asian market, are generally the IT programs, maths programs, and the business programs. But we also have a School of Liberal Arts and Communications, and I think that's where there's perhaps some of the more creative degrees. So we have things like advertising and public relations, international relations, which is one of our flagship programs, and we've been teaching that since 1972. And also the psychology program, which I think is becoming more and more popular. So those programs, I think are perhaps out of the traditional subject area, but you would get really, really good benefits from studying those at an international university like Richmond in London. So and then on the postgraduate side, so we have the MSc, so the Masters of Science in the International Business Management, in digital marketing and data science, in project management for sustainability. And then again, we've got programs in advertising and PR, luxury brand management, which I see becoming more popular with students from India, and also the international relations as well. And obviously with what's going on in the world at the moment, that's a really interesting subject to study. We have lots of great speakers that come in and give their, have discussions and have debates about global politics, about the Ukraine war, or maybe what's going on in the Middle East, or those topics.
So is the internship opportunity or the placement year is also available with any of these courses?
Yeah, so great question. So we don't have placement years, but we have internships that are 4 credits. So that means they're part of your degree program. You get awarded academic credit. So if you don't choose to do an internship, you have to do another class, or you have to do another piece of work to get that credit. And the way that works is we have an internships office, and in the final year of the students program, so for undergraduates it's the final year, for master students it's the final semester, students will have a discussion with the internships office. They'll talk about the type of company or the type of job role they would like to do, and then the internships office will say, okay, these are the internships we have in those areas. They will help them apply for the internships. For the best ones, you'll have to get interviewed, and then students can hopefully win or land their best internship. And because it's 4 credit, you're going to be doing a minimum 200 hours work. You're going to have to do a report about your experience, or a diary, or a presentation, and your manager from the placement is also going to write a report about you, and then that's how you get your credit. So it is a work placement, a formal work placement, I would say. And I think as your viewers know, and as you know, that's then a great stepping stone when you graduate, because all students are going to have the PSW, the graduate route work visa. So to have some practical work experience then allows you to apply for jobs. So I've got my degree, I've got my dissertation or my thesis on the topic, I've done an internship, so you're in a really good position to then hopefully get your dream job or start your career.
So this is basically making industry ready.
Yes, exactly. That's a good phrase,
so
and that's the phrase we like to use.
My next question is what is the duration of the course for the masters and the bachelors? I know it's 4 years and a year, but I just want to confirm from you. So is it the same duration?
So we are a dual university. So we are a US university and a UK university. And traditionally, as I'm sure your viewers know, bachelor's degrees are 4 years in the US. Generally, Indian students can complete them in 3 years, so that they get credit for their HSC, and if they have certain grades, they can complete it in 3 years. Some students, if they have slightly lower grades, will have to do it in 4 years or 3.5 years. And then for the master's degree programs, masters in the UK are generally 12 months, so 1 year, 3 semesters, and some of our master's degrees are that length, and other ones we have some 16-month duration masters, and those are the MSc programs, and they're 4 semesters. And the reason that they're 16 months is they have a lower English language requirement. So during the first semester, students will do extra classes on English communication skills, business communication, and that will bring them up to speed to then complete the rest of the master's program. And what we find as well, some of those students, they want to stay in London a little bit longer, because 12 months actually goes very quickly. So if you're there for 16 months, you have a slightly longer summer, which allows you to work, maybe earn a bit more money, maybe do an internship, maybe do some traveling around Europe. And so then they can, have some extra experiences.
Because my master program was also of 18 months. When I did MSc International Business from Birmingham City, it was 18 months program.
So I think that helps. It just takes the pressure off a little bit,
that's true. That's
gives you,
more time to explore.
And I think particularly for students that have done their bachelor's here in India, they want to be in London for a little bit more than 12 months.
Absolutely.
The other obviously really good advantage is that some of our students, particularly from the US and from other countries, a US master's is generally 2 years. So students can come to Richmond and get a master's in 1 year, which obviously saves time and saves money as well. So that's really positive.
So what is the eligibility criteria, a general eligibility criteria for undergrad and postgrad both? Can you just brief us a bit about it?
So for undergraduate students, we're looking for a minimum of 60% in the Standard 12 HSC, and then we have some scholarships if they have higher grades. And for the master's programs, again, very standard, so a minimum grade of 2.2 or equivalent, which is what, 55%?
Yeah, 55%.
In their bachelor's degrees.
So what about the English requirement in both undergrad and postgrad?
So for undergrad, again, I think this is fairly standard for UK universities, so we're looking for a 6.0 in IELTS with no section lower than 5.5 or equivalent. So we also accept the PTE, TOEFL, Cambridge and the other English language tests. And for the master's degrees, we're looking for it to be a bit higher, so 6.5 overall with no lower than 6.0 or equivalent, obviously. And then for the MSc program, so I mentioned a minute ago, they have a slightly lower requirement. So for those programs, they basically have the same requirement as the bachelor's degrees, so 6.0, 5.5 in each 6.0 in every section.
In every section. So is there any English language test waiver thing in your university? Or any internal English language test?
So we don't have the internal one, but for 2 of the boards here in India, we will offer an English waiver if a student has 70%. CBSE and the ISC boards, if students have 70%, they can have an English waiver.
So just going more deeper into the course, what are the scholarship criteria in order to get admission into the university? What are the scholarship criteria for undergrad and postgrad both? Because India being a price-sensitive market, people do want to know.
So we've got 2 scholarships for the undergraduate students. So one of them, they need 75% in their HSC, and then they can receive a £2,500 scholarship.
That's a good amount.
And the scholarship is renewed each year.
Okay, so it's all year they'll get 2,500.
Yeah, so
it's a huge saving.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost like £10,000.
No. And then if students don't have that high GP 75%, we also offer an English language one. So if they have 6.0 or equivalent in IELTS in all sections, they can also receive £2,500.
And is it for all 4 years?
Yeah, again, for all 3 or 4 years. We're hoping that, by offering those 2 scholarships, we either get students with a higher English or a high GPA.
Definitely students do want this scholarship and they try hard for it. So what about the masters?
So if students have 60% in their bachelor's degree, they can get a 10% scholarship. And if they have 65%, they can get a 15% scholarship.
That's a good amount.
And then for the MSc programs, we also have one other special scholarship, and that's an early bird scholarship. So if they are accepted and they've paid their deposit, their CAS deposit by the 31st of May, they can receive a 15% scholarship.
Okay. So the next intake is September, right?
Yeah, next intake is September 2025. So yeah, to encourage students to apply early, which I think is really helpful for them, because then they are not stressing or nervous about the visa process, because in the late summer, it can sometimes take longer to get the visa.
The volume of the students is high.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
So just before coming to that, a very important question for every student. What is the admission process? In order to gain admission into your university, the eligibility criteria is clear. Yeah. What is the set of documents that a student required?
Yeah. So obviously, I always say it's really good if they work with an organisation like My Admissions Card that can help them to apply.
It's our duty to guide, but it's good to hear from you.
Yeah, no, of course. So students need a personal statement. Yeah. So that's obviously really important. They obviously need their academic transcripts and final degree certificate, if possible. We usually ask for a reference from a teacher or a professor. Just one. Yes. Just one. And if it's bachelor's students, generally that will be maybe from school or from maybe their English language teacher. And for a master's student, again, it could be from a professor. But I know obviously some master's students, they've been working for 3, 4, 5 years. Yes. So then maybe from their employer, their company.
Work experience. Letter would do.
Yeah.
So
and for master's students, particularly if they have a study gap, we also would like to see a CV.
Okay.
And the CV should say like the years they've been working and their job role and their responsibilities as well. Because it helps us to build a picture of the student. It helps us to get to know them a bit better. And also that's really important, I think, as well when they're going for the visa interviews, that they show that progression. Yeah.
So is there any interview?
Yeah, so we do a pre-CAS interview for all students, and yeah, this is obviously just for us to get to know the student a little bit more, and to make sure they're going to be the right fit for the program, and also to prepare them in case they are asked to do one for the UKVI.
Okay, so there are 2 more questions from my side.
Yeah.
I need some tips for students from your side for SOP, and then some tips for the pre-CAS interview also.
Yes. Okay.
What are the major things they should look forward to prepare?
Yeah. So with the SOP, what I really say to students is it doesn't have to be your life story. Keep it short and succinct. So we always recommend 500 to 700 words maximum. And I would say that the 3 points you want to focus on are: tell us about who you are, so what you have been doing at school or at university, why you want to study this subject, what sparked your passion. So this is where the students can tell us a little bit of a story. So for example, maybe their family owns a business, and from a young age they were helping their mother or father in the business, and this made them really interested in this subject. Or maybe they love watching some films, so they really want to study like a film-based degree or a music degree. Or they have been enticed by some company, some advertising, so now they want to work doing branding and advertising. And then the final bit would be to tell us a little bit about what they want to do in the future. So once they have their degree, like what are their sort of career goals or their life goals? And again, that just helps us to build a picture of who the student is, and to make sure that the course is going to be the right fit for them, because that's the most important thing. Yeah.
And what about the pre-CAS interview? Because the pre-CAS interview, which a lot of students are afraid of.
Yeah.
So it's important for you to tell them the first thing they should not be afraid of, and what they should be prepared for.
I watch some of the pre-CAS interviews, and you can tell some students are very nervous.
Yeah, very nervous, yeah.
And I know it can be a little bit scary for them. But no, the tips are that they need to answer the questions directly, and again, keep the answers short and direct. Rather than sort of waffling or speaking in really, really long sentences. But you're always going to be asked in a pre-CAS interview the basic information about the course and the university. So the full name of your course, the full name of the university, the location or the address of the university, how much it costs, your course. Do you have a scholarship? So the other thing that we notice a lot, and this is because when we see students get the transcripts from the UKVI interviews, how did you come to your decision-making process? So obviously we're located in London, so we'll maybe ask, why have you chosen Richmond over other universities? You know, there's 100 universities in the UK, there's 15 universities in London. So students need to say, I looked at Richmond University, X University, X University, and the reasons I chose this university over this one or this one.
That's the most important.
So yeah, that comparison of saying, my thought process for this, for choosing one university over another is important. Yeah.
That's great. Because these are very important points for an audience and their parents also to know.
Yeah. We always, as well, when we work with our partners, that we always give them some practice questions to answer, and so the students can do a little bit of research and a little bit of preparation. Yeah. Is
there any second chance for a student who came to the pre-CAS interview, and if he failed, is there a possibility of a second chance, or there is no second chance?
In a few cases, we will give a second chance. So it sort of depends on the reason why they failed. And if it's just for a very simple reason or some basic information, then we will give them a second chance. The other reasons, in the other times, we will give them a second chance is if there's been like an internet or a connectivity issue.
Okay. Yeah. So one last question, like we are coming towards the closer of the podcast. Why a student should study in Richmond from your point of view?
Yeah,
because so this will give a lot of points to these students.
This is the key point, and I was going to bring this up myself at the end. So guys, the key reasons to study at Richmond are you're going to graduate with both a UK degree and a US degree. If you ever want to go and live and work in the USA, this is going to be really helpful for your goal of doing that. The other reason, we are a very small university, so we only have 1,200 students. I think many of your viewers will be looking at some of the larger London universities. You don't get the personal attention and support at those universities that you do at Richmond. At Richmond, you're going to be in a class with 35 students. The professor's going to know your name in the first few weeks. Every class you're going to be having discussions, having debates. You're not sitting in a big lecture room with 200 people just writing notes. So I think that cultural and that confidence that you get from being in a small community, from having that support, is really important. And if you are that type of student, you're going to benefit a lot from the education at Richmond. And then the international nature as well. Yeah. So in your class, you're maybe going to have 10, 11, 12 different nationalities. So that's going to be really, really eye-opening for you.
Yeah, that's very important. Yeah. That's the international exposure students do want when they go out of India to study.
The other really great thing that we offer for undergraduate students is something called study abroad. Okay. So we have 50 partner universities around the world, and they all follow the US credit transfer system. So in their second or third year, students can go and spend 1 semester or 1 year at one of our partner universities. They take the same classes as they would do at Richmond, get their credits, then they come back to finish their degree. And the reason this is so attractive is that we have quite a lot of partners in USA, Canada. So a student can go and spend a semester at one of those partners, have a really great experience, and then come back and finish their degree. And because it's an exchange program, they only pay their Richmond tuition. Okay. So some of these universities in the US, if you wanted to go there for 1 semester on your own, it would cost you $50,000, $60,000, and you're only going to be paying your Richmond tuition, which is about $20,000.
Okay. So that's a great opportunity for the student.
Yeah.
The reason I asked you this question because you have answered you have given tips and answers to the student to come for pre-CAS interview and the SOP both. But thanks a lot for the insight.
Can I? And I'll just say a couple more things. So obviously through the internships and then the post-study, the graduate route work visa. So I really think being able to study in London at an international university with small class sizes, having the option to study abroad, doing an internship, and then getting the graduate route work visa is a really great package and is really good value for money as well.
And the fees is also on the right place. Like I mean to say it's not high, and there are a couple of opportunities of a scholarship also.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a very good opportunity for the students.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, really. And it's very different to the other London universities. And I think not everybody wants to be, I won't say any names, but yeah, some of these larger institutions in London. So yeah, Richmond's really a nice different option. It's a higher quality option as well. Yeah.
So one more question from my side. It's not basically a question, it's a message out there to the prospective students who are looking forward to study in UK. What would be a tip from your side? Just a one-liner tip for these students who are looking forward to study in UK.
Do your research, visit university websites, and don't just go to the first one you see.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for your time today, Adam, to us.
Not at all. Thank you, Munir. It's been a really pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you.
If you want to learn more about studying in the UK and about Richmond American University London, please go to the Education Fair in Varanasi and Prayagraj on the 18th to 20th of April. Go to the My Admissions Card and Savvy Foundation Education Fair.